Ladies and gentlemen, the six-time Barclays ATP World Tour Finals champion, winner of 17 Grand Slam titles, from Switzerland, Roger Federer! Ladies and gentlemen, please thank this afternoon's Barclays mascots, Jay Brooker, aged 8, and Megan Brooker, aged 7.
It's always so nice, isn't it, for the mascots to be able to walk on courts with some of the best players ever to have graced our sport. Something that they'll remember for the rest of their lives. Federer and Gasquet both performed relatively well in their opening matches, but they'll be looking to take it up a notch again this afternoon. Federer, of course, played well in patches against Djokovic, winning that second set, but wasn't quite at the races for much of the third when Djokovic was able to raise the level of his game. And Gasquet will be disappointed after a strong start against Del Potro. Took the opening set there and they just lost 7-5 in the deciding set. Both were nervous in that match, and you always tend to see that the players relax a little more in the second match in this round-robin format, and as a result, obviously strike the ball a little better and tend to play at a higher level. But there will be confidence. He knows what it's all about. Getting out of the group stages of the season-ending championships, and he can take plenty of positives from the match that he played the other day against Djokovic. The last 2 or 3 weeks been some good tennis as far as Federer is concerned, especially in light of what he had to endure throughout the course of the summer.
All right, guys, I think you know the conditions. Just remember 2 things. We have a TV changeovers and time between points. All right? Questions? Nothing? Richard, please. Can we do the toss for us? Heads.
Nice to meet you.
Heads. You won.
Myself?
Okay. Picture, please.
Damien Steiner is the umpire. Decent crowd in this afternoon, and of course the ovation that Federer enjoyed when he walked onto court for his first match the other day was the biggest of the week so far, and a similar one this afternoon. So it'll be very much like a Davis Cup tie, the atmosphere this afternoon, something that Gasquet will have to take into consideration and to deal with it as well as Djokovic did the other day. So all set for the first match of the day in Group B. It's the second outing for these two, Federer against Gasquet. And of course, a little later on this evening, it'll be Djokovic against Del Potro. Well, because Djokovic was able to win a little more comfortably than Del Potro was, he sits atop of the group. And it's always nice to get a win under your belt, but it doesn't mean by any stretch of the imagination, Robbie, that the 2 players that lost, Gasquet and Federer, can't qualify.
Absolutely not. And of course, by virtue of the fact that they lost in 3 sets, that serves them even better, Jay. So we'll have a much better idea as to how things need to pan out for either of them after this match.
That was the problem for Federer, wasn't it, in the other group, losing both of his matches in straight sets, and that meant that he wasn't able to make it through to the knockout stages at the end of his match yesterday. If you're going to go down, you've got to go down fighting. You've got to win as many sets and games as you possibly can.
This season started with a run to the semi-finals in Australia and followed it up by reaching his 58th.
There's been a lot of talk this week about how well Federer has played at the season-ending championships, how well he's fared here in London, how much this course and the conditions in general suit the way that he likes to play his tennis. But, of course, he's had to endure his most frustrating season throughout the course of his career. So many losses in the summer. He's had the bad back, lower back problems, tried to change rackets in the middle of the season. Must have doubted himself severely compared to all the success that he's enjoyed down the years. So how much does it matter that we're here in London, that we're playing in good conditions? Is it just more of a case of him just not playing as well as he ever used to? It doesn't matter where he is.
Yes, I think it is part of the problem. Obviously, it helps a little bit that he's back to a place where he's so familiar with the surroundings. But for the first time, he's lost to players who are ranked a lot lower than him. And the only time, Jason, incidentally, that he hasn't got out of group stages was back in 2008, and that's when he lost his opening match. So I'm just wondering if that's a little bit of an omen for Roger this year.
It's, he'll take heart from the way that he played the other day, though, against Djokovic. Played very well towards the tail end of the second set. He also performed well in Basel and in Paris, didn't he? So surely in terms of his overall confidence, it must be almost higher now than it has been since Australia, perhaps.
Well, he said Dubai, didn't he? He said that was the last time that he was feeling really good about his game and health-wise. And he said in Paris last week, it's the best he's felt since then. So the body's feeling good. And obviously, hopefully that transcends into being well between the years.
Well, we often talk about current form, and I was impressed with Gasquet when he played Del Potro the other day. Lost in 3 sets, 7-5 in the third, but often in years gone by we've criticised Gasquet for not competing at his very best when things haven't quite gone according to plan, and his record against the very best players in the world isn't fantastic because sometimes he hasn't had the belief to take them on. But I really liked what he said after that loss to Del Potro. Instead of saying, no, I did really well, it was close, it was a nice occasion, I was happy to be there. He said, I was really disappointed, you know, I had chances and I feel I can live with these guys now and I want to play better and I think I can play better in my next match.
Of course, it's exactly the kind of response you want. And we've seen it since the start of the year in Doha when he came back against Davydenko. Down and out, set in the break. Points to go down a double break, but he hung in there. He won the tournament as a result. What about at the US Open this year when he came back and was able to beat Milos Raonic in 5 sets, and then just a couple of days later do it against Federer. And in fact, I think he broke a 6-match win streak of Federer as far as 5-set matches were concerned. So it tells you the attitude has changed significantly, and I think Riccardo Piatti has played a big part in that respect.
That's, and of course the fact that he's just maturing now as an individual. He understands the importance of going out there and giving his very best each and every time he steps out onto the match court, and that's what we've kind of got to discuss then, surely, when we look at their head-to-head record. Federer's won 10 of their 12 previous meetings, but they haven't played since Madrid in 2012. That's a long, long time ago. Obviously, Federer hasn't had as much success since then. He's not playing as well as he was then, and Gasquet's playing even better. So should we just forget about the head-to-head record and look at what's going to happen this afternoon?
Yeah, and in fact, perhaps look at this year in isolation, because that gives us a good idea where both players are. So I believe that that gap that we see in the head-to-head is much narrower in reality, in the now.
How close is it then? And who's your favourite to win today?
Roger is still my favourite, but I don't think he's the overwhelming favourite. I would put him probably at about 55 to 45.
First set.
Always a great expectation when Federer takes to any court, but especially here in London at the season-ending championships. And of course, it's Gasquet's first appearance here at the O2 Arena, though of course he has qualified for season-ending finale previously. It'd be fascinating to see how well he handles the occasion today. What are the keys to success today as far as Gasquet's concerned, Robbie? He'll know his record's poor against Federer coming in, so got to get off to a decent start, but what do we need to look for tactically?
I think he's got to be a little more aggressive than what he was against Del Potro. He's got to be careful that he doesn't get too deep in the court too often. Of course, that's his default setting, so naturally, it's not going to be easy for him to play off the front foot as much as he can. I think backhand cross-court rallies, he needs to dominate those. Of course, we know he has to serve well. I think a good first serve percentage. He's got a sneaky good serve, and if that can lay a good platform for him where he's not being challenged every service game when he steps up to the line, I think that's certainly going to help.
And if we're going to talk specifics, I was very impressed. You talk about the backhand cross-court, but I thought the angle he was able to create against Del Potro by going a little shorter with a little more spin was fantastic. And we know if you can push Federer wide of that single sideline, you can draw errors from him, can't you?
You can, because obviously he doesn't like to back down, likes to continue to go for his shots. And we also know that when you get Roger running on the forehand, if you do open up the forehand by hitting that short backhand cross-court angle, again, he doesn't defend as well off the forehand side as what he does off the backhand.
Tennis. Gasquet just nice and patient. I'm surprised perhaps Federer didn't try and do a little more with the forehand. That's going to be key as far as I can see. Gasquet's going to go cross-court a lot with the backhand. When Federer does run around to hit the forehand, that's a tactic that needs to work well for him.
That could have, I thought he could have used the inside-in forehand a little bit there. Don't be shy to go to Gasquet's forehand. Definitely his weaker side.
Did try it there, and again, make sure you don't hit that too flat. We're always talking, Robbie, about trying to take positives out of losses. Can Federer do that, given how he played against Djokovic the other day?
He said no. He said in his post-match press conference, I wasn't happy with the way I played. 2 sets against him. In the last 2 matches I've played against him, it's not good enough.
So happy with the way he played in those 2 sets, but he needs to play well for longer periods.
He was suggesting to the journalists, if you guys think I'm happy winning 2 sets against Djokovic in 2 matches, you're very wrong. I'm not. I expect to beat the guy. So he did say that he was a little shaky with his game on the big points. He mentioned that as we were discussing in commentary, that he's making unforced errors out of nowhere. So he doesn't feel there's too many positives to take away from his 2 losses to Novak recently, which is interesting, because quite often you like to put a positive spin on things, but perhaps he's just being brutally honest, showing us that he's still so hungry to beat these guys. That's a shot that's worked really well. I thought he hit the backhand up the line decently against Novak. And I think it's going to be a key shot again today, just to change up things, not get involved in the backhand cross-court rallies all the time.
And in the last 2 or 3 points, he has tried to pepper Gasquet forehand more, hasn't he? That's definitely the shot you've got to try and break down, especially if the Frenchman gets a little nervous. Oh, that's why sometimes you've got to come in up the middle or to the forehand, because he can do anything off that particular one. Is Gasquet's backhand better than Federer's backhand?
Good question. Yes, I think it is. Certainly now.
Interesting, wasn't it there? Federer was looking to come in, and then suddenly he realized, well, perhaps not. I haven't done enough with the approach. I remember what happened last time I did that. Just stayed back. That's good start. Nice and positive, looking to dominate with the forehand.
1 game.
What do you say to Federer fans, Jason? So many of them out there. Obviously, they're not enjoying the fact that Roger's lost a few more matches this year. Got to lower their expectations now. You know,
They don't want to, do they?
Such is life.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. They'll argue, well, if Roger's not going to lower his expectations, you know, he said he still wants to be beating Djokovic. He's not happy losing to him in 3 sets. Why should they? They still believe in him. If he still believes in his own ability that he can beat the best players in the world, they're not going to back down first, are they?
No, certainly not.
Lovely variation there. Of the team, currently in Gasquet's corner, Riccardo Piatti, the main man. So he's there most of the year. And Seb does most of the tournaments in North America on the hard courts there, because that's where he lives now, in America.
The French connection, of course.
Yep.
Seb.
And they were both out on the practice court with Gasquet this morning.
9 seconds.
That's good tennis. Gradually working his way through the rally by gaining the upper hand.
15-30.
This is where Gasquet, in my eyes, has got to be careful. If he's just too passive and allows Federer to dictate play with the fine and come in when he wants to, then it's going to be difficult.
Yep. And it's interesting, of course,
30.
Gasquet sprung to prominence when he was able to beat Roger back in 2005 in Monte Carlo. Remember that match?
What a match that was.
Yep.
Incredible.
And I often wonder and think back to it and think perhaps that win came a little too soon for Gasquet. He wasn't quite ready for it, was he? So maybe he was.
Well, there was a lot of expectation thereafter, wasn't it?
That's the thing that I'm talking about.
And there's always been expectation from the French as far as Gasquet is concerned. They thought for sure when he was a junior that he was going to be a Grand Slam champion at some stage. And I think that affected him a little bit, especially his relationship with the media. But he is maturing nicely now. That match against Federer, I think it was a quarter-final, if memory serves me correctly. 7-6 in the third. It was incredible. Looking a little shaky at the moment. Federer's playing well. He's dominating most of the rallies. And of course now he's got the early break. Federer leads 2-1.
Well, I think Roger heard us talking about who's got the better backhand in that game, Jace, because he came up with some pearlers there. That short angle cross court was right out of the Gasquet manual. So just keeping us boys in the booth honest.
That's first service.
Oh, he should have done more there, surely.
He tried to fake him out, but
He did,
Roger wasn't going to have any of it. Hey, young man,
That's
don't try that against the old god.
That's right.
Sublime. He's got great feel, hasn't he?
14.
Shapes for the normal backhand and then slides his racket underneath it rather than going for the top. But you can't see it coming. The disguise, exquisite.
I get the distinct impression, Robbie, that Federer feels much more comfortable out there knowing that Gasquet can't dominate these rallies.
Can't rush him, can he? Like Novak did the other evening, standing up against the baseline, taking the ball early, matching him. He's got more time to think now against Richard.
And the likes of Del Potro as well do that so easily, don't they, now?
Game, Federer.
So it was nice when he's just broken serve. If you can hold quickly, comfortably, assert your authority.
3 games to 1.
Had a good start here.
Loud 15.
School there, Federer. Short forehands. Could have done a lot of damage with it.
Yeah, he was trying to go for the disguise one, wasn't he? This time it was Gasquet who wasn't going to fall for the fake.
Oh, that's what I was talking about earlier. By going shorter with that backhand cross-court, surely he's going to then open up the court, and that gives him options. You know, he can go to Federer's forehand, or can sneak into the net. I mean, that backhand there was perfectly placed. You're playing against a guy with a one-handed backhand who has to chip there, has to play defensively, so it's the perfect time to sneak in. And there's another. Just opening his shoulders a little more freely in that game, especially off that wing. But it's Federer with the early lead here. With a break, it's 3-2. Well, of course, one of the features of the season-ending championships is always the awards that the ATP Tour tend to give out. I mean, a regular appearance, really, for Federer. He looks very, very smart and always likes to appreciate all of his fan base. And 3 awards he got yesterday. Look at that. How's that for a mantelpiece? Stefan Edberg Sportsmanship Award, the Arthur Ashe Humanitarian Award, and the ATPWorldTour.com Fans Favourite Award for the 37th year in a row. Incredible.
37th? The guy's popular beyond his years, and I'm sure that will be the case.
Oh, lovely targets there. Didn't need too much with the first couple of forehands. Just hoping for a shorter ball. And then, of course, perfect time to go to the Gasquet backhand once he's under pressure. And again, that's nice and short, isn't it? So he's creating a lovely angle with it.
He's dialed in today. He's looking good, lively with the feet. I noticed that as well in the Potram match, even when he was hitting the odd ball, still dynamic movements, looking a bit better. And of course, that's what he said. That's the big difference between now and the vast majority of the season.
I also like the way that he doesn't look like he's forcing anything this afternoon. So he's hitting aggressively, but to safe targets. Very few unforced errors as a result. Lovely feel. Anything short. I'm so used to seeing Federer holds comfortably and quickly. Just 1 minute and 17 seconds. He has dominated the opening stages of this one. He looks very relaxed out there this afternoon. Gasquet looked a little intimidated this afternoon.
A little, I'd have to say. He has.
He hasn't seemed to express himself too freely so far.
And my opinion coming into the match was that he would really open his shoulders a little bit and go for it. He's been a bit passive, but I guess it's the Roger effect that he's feeling today. The guy hits on the inside of that ball, so it creates the angle. It's always going away from Richard.
Superb tennis. Crucially, didn't try to hit the drive volley too hard. Again, choosing a very intelligent target. Wasn't looking to hit a winner with the shots. He was just looking to improve his position within the rally. And then had plenty of time to think about the smash. But again, look at the target that he chose there. Wasn't looking to paint the lines at all. Really good tennis. Too many unforced errors today when he's been in the winning position within the rally.
Federer leads 4 games.
Still in the hunt though. Federer leads 4-3.
Of course, this is an amazing comparison for me. We're talking about the first match that Gasquet ever played against Federer in Monte Carlo in 2005, and look how much time he was spending inside the baseline. 41% of the time he was looking to be on the offensive, but of course we know these days he kind of camps a good 3 or 4 meters behind the baseline, puts a lot of balls in play. But it's amazing, Jason, to see how much more offensively minded he was back then versus now.
And he's only beaten Federer once since, hasn't he? So if you're going to do it, you do it on indoor courts where you don't have to battle the elements. So I'm surprised he hasn't been more aggressive today. And perhaps now he's a breakdown, or if he loses this opening set, that's a change that he will make.
Yeah, thanks to the boys in Hawker for digging out that nugget. Going back to 2005. It really is fascinating when you see comparisons like that, isn't it?
So players' games always develop throughout the course of their careers, and you do make changes every now and then. You do try different ways of playing. Some of the shot making on that day was out of this world. Well, now here's a chance for Gasquet. It's when you get half chances like this against the best in the world that you need to be proactive. So let's see what he can come up with here.
Thank you.
It's like been back in the day, isn't it? Federer's done that so regularly, especially when he was the best in the world. Find that first serve when he's needed it most to earn a cheap point.
That's Federer of 2013, unfortunately.
Too many unforced errors on big points against players ranked around him, or perhaps a little higher. So that's gifted Gasquet. There's 2 break points for the Frenchman.
13-14.
Nowhere really. A couple of poor unforced errors in that game have cost Federer. Gasquet breaks and he's back on level terms.
All games
You would have expected Gasquet to have to play at least one volley there.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it, when we watched Federer play the other day against Djokovic. Great points in the opening set, 4-all, and then missed it by 3 centimeters, and then made 5 unforced errors in the next 8 points to lose the set. So I guess more than anything, it's those types of errors that cost him so regularly.
Love 15.
Yes. Of course, it plays on your mind. When you're the best player in the world. Boris Becker was talking about it yesterday. As I got older, things used to bother me a little bit more. Confidence is everything, even when you've won as much as Roger's won. Once you lose a little bit, it hurts your game. Boris was in good form the other day when we were listening to him, wasn't he?
He was. Nice to see him here as always.
Yep.
Because he's another always took these championships very seriously, as Federer has always done, because he said he likes to test himself against his peers, the best in the world, and he always felt that this was kind of the unofficial world championships, as it were, because only the best in the world were there. And Federer's always had that attitude too. Great to see. That's not an easy shot by any stretch of the imagination.
Especially when you've got a single-hander. You've got to have so much flexibility and dexterity in the wrist. Normally, us mere mortals would just chip that one up the line, but not Gasquet. Brushes up the back.
3,600 revs on that shot. On that serve, 110 miles an hour. If you're attempting to serve and volley behind that, incredible volleyer. Gasquet's been a little passive again in this game, despite the fact that he served and volleyed there. He did so behind the average serve. So here's Federer, 2 break points. Defense there from Federer to stay in the rally, to force Gasquet to play one more shot there. He'll be delighted with his response. It was a poor service game initially, but a good break there. 5-4. Normally, Robbie, after players have got the first match of the group stages under their belt, we see them play a little better tennis, but hasn't been the case, really. It's been a bit of a mixed bag so far, hasn't it?
It has. I thought Thomas Berdych played really well yesterday in his second match. Of course, this is, I don't want to say it's totally uncharted territory for Roger, because he's lost once before. In 2008 to Gilles Simon was the only time he'd lost his opening group match.
Maybe they feel the pressure. They know they need to win today to stand a chance of getting out of the groups, and they know that a loss will kill any chance. So more tension in the arm, given what's at stake. Federer fans in fine voice, urging their hero on. Decent service game away from wrapping up the opening set now.
15 love. Mr. Gasquet is challenging the ball right near the subline. Ball was fall out. 15 love. Mr. Gasquet has 2 challenges. Mr. Gasquet challenging ball on the left center service line. Ball was called in.
Sure what Federer was up to there.
Second serve. Taylor. Oh, Taylor.
Perfect time to introduce the cowbell. 3 set points.
Game of first set, Federer.
Comfortable hold in the end then for Federer. Just that one poor service game. The only blots on his copybook.
6 games.
Wraps up the opening set, 6 games to 4 in a little over half an hour. Served well, didn't he, there throughout the set? That always helps Federer. Gives him a good base to build off, doesn't it?
Yeah, 63% of the first serves going in, which is a healthy number, and played well behind the serve, no question about it. One stunt, 4 errors. Okay, on a par. And most importantly, played the big points well, because that hasn't always been the case when he's got to look at the break point. Did play the break point that he gave up particularly well, but against a player who's been able to dominate, I think still looking good as far as Federer is concerned. Gasquet hasn't been up for the fight like he was in his opening group match. 34 minutes, Roger looking strong.
So Gasquet needs to get off to a decent start in this second set. For my money, he needs to be a little more aggressive, a little more proactive, and just free himself of those shackles. At this stage in this tournament, having lost his opening match, a set down here, he's got absolutely nothing to lose. First serve was called out, no challenge, and took a piece of the line. Looks a little frustrated, doesn't he, Riccardo Piatti? Strained. Kind of caught it into there.
Love 40.
Best shot, his favourite, so it's another poor shot from Gasquet. 3 break points for Federer. Ball was there to be run around and hits. Poor serve. He's got a pretty good kicker on it. Oh, it's great hands from Federer. I like the approach too, straight up the middle of the court. Didn't give Gasquet too many options in terms of angles. So he just felt best course of action was to drill it back at Federer. So you've got to hold the racket nice and firm. Do anything you can just to get the ball back over the net, and then good anticipation off the back of the second attempted pass from Gasquet. And of course, doing this when you break point up always puts so much pressure on the opposition. Really good net coverage there. Generating some really nice pace with that little backhand flick. Great start to the second set for Federer. Well, surely now, Robbie, setting a breakdown, having lost your opening match in the round-robin stages, is a time just to swing from the hip.
Couldn't agree with you more. Got to hold this momentum somehow. Oh, he's putting on a clinic. Here's Federer. Well, this is a typical case of Federer being the conductor. And he's had Gasquet dancing to his own tune. Complete control.
Just a little greedy there. There's plenty of court to into.
30-15.
It's close.
Mr. Gasquet challenged the ball left far sideline. Ball was full out. Ball stands. Yes, Federer.
Missed by much. This match is running away from Gasquet at quite the rate of knots at the moment.
Mr. Gasquet has 2 challenges.
Extremely comfortable at the moment.
Mr. Gasquet is challenging the ball on the right far sideline. Ball was falling. Ball overturned, 15 left. Next. 15 all.
Oh, it's Stan Wawrinka watching, and of course my former doubles partner Eve Allegro standing up in the background. Magnus Norman on the right. Of course, Eve is here as a part of the ATP alumni. Big day for everybody today. Everybody's been invited. Former players, alumni members.
It's interesting that you describe him as your former partner, but I think he describes Federer as his former doubles partner.
I can't believe he's got the knot ahead of me. Not cool at all. Have a word with him.
That's a great volley. Very, very difficult, that one. But have great strength to be able to hit that down into the court to get it to bounce over your opponent. The timing has to be absolutely perfect here. Look at the wrist there. Superb shot. Full stretch. Superb volley.
I mean, he denies him a little bit of rhythm.
14.
Attacks prudently. And then just taps the genius once again. He's shown wonderful feel in this match. Drop shot slices. Federer of old.
On that serve, interestingly, we talked about having a sneaky good serve, and today we haven't seen many free points. You know, it'd be interesting to see whether he's carrying a bit of a niggly injury or not. But just rolling the ball in when you're losing, it's not going to help your cause.
Yeah, you need to fight your way out of that paper bag, don't you? You got to kick in and screaming.
Advantage, Gasquet. Game, Gasquet.
And that was crucial holds.
Federer leads 2
Good
games.
moment for the Frenchman. Federer in full flow and in total control. 2-1. Right over Brad Gilbert's head there. That's not good. He's a former winner, I think, of the season-ending championships. I think he won the big one year in Germany. We'll do some homework. We'll check it out. But if memory serves me correctly, he took home a big pot of gold that year.
Yeah, but don't get that mixed up.
With the Grand Slam Cup?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about season-ending championships. So, nothing wrong with a pot of gold.
Time. love 15.
Oh, he didn't concentrate there, did he? Just took his eye off the ball. Good pace from Gasquet, but as long as he just concentrates on the contact with the ball, the point's won every time. He'd opened up the court beautifully. These guys do appreciate the genius of Federer world over. I think that's where we're lucky in this era, Robbie. There's so many great players that transcend the sport. Federer's right at the top of the list there.
Of course he is.
It's in spot of bother here, though, in this service game. Break point for Gasquet.
Oh, that's ridiculous, that serve. I mean, he's only hit it at 99 miles an hour. Gasquet didn't come within a foot of it.
And of course, it's a great tactic to use against a player with a single-handed backhand, and Federer knows that only too well.
And a player who stands so deep in the court.
Yep.
Exploit the angle. Magnificent from Roger. This is a big-time play on a very important point. That's more like it from him.
It's good depth, nice pace. It's always a lovely combination. And now just starting to be a little more aggressive.
That's exactly what we were asking for at the start of the match.
Advantage Gasquet.
People are raking forehands early on, doing the damage. Sensible smash. Not scared of the two-shot combination in order to win the point. That's a key mindset to have.
Break point. Oh, it's another magnificent combination from Federer. Again, he started with that big kicker of a serve to open up the court. Crucially, didn't try and do too much with the drive volley. And he's possessed good feel today on those drop shots. Hasn't overplayed them. So still has that element of surprise.
Advantage Federer.
Is running out for Gasquet.
15 left.
Needs to decide now whether he wants to go down fighting and swinging or not. What he's got to keep telling himself is just the one break of serve.
30 left.
Anything can happen.
Yep. Play mind games with yourself.
And he knows, you know, Federer throughout the course of the season, you know, he hasn't been as good as he once was when he was a set and a break up, of never losing matches from that position. Got to keep believing.
First service. Game. Last game. Federer leads 3 games to 2.
It's Federer, who still holds all the aces here. 3-2, second set.
Now in its 4th year, the Barclays Ball Kids program has involved over 6,000 youngsters at 52 regional trials and 4 national finals since its launch in 2010. The quality of the sport's on-court performance at the O2 this week demonstrates the benefits of teamwork, confidence, communication and performing under pressure. Attributes reinforced by life skills created with Barclays. The Life Skills program aims to give young people the skills and experience they need to enter the world of work.
It's a great achievement to overcome everything that you thought you could never do.
To register for next year's program, visit barclaysballkids.com.
Alongside Robbie Koenig. Delighted to be in the O2 Arena for the Barclays ATP World Tour Finals 2013. Action today from Group B. Initially, those that weren't able to get a win in their opening matches, Federer and Gasquet. But, Federer has played well today. Set up, and there's a break up in the second at 3-2.
Love 15.
It's not too dissimilar from the opening set. I know the break occurred a little bit later, but you know, that's what Gasquet's got to remind himself of. He was able to break back down 3-4. Federer pretty much gifted it to him, didn't he? Just try and stay close.
Served accurately today. A nice high percentage of first serves have found their mark. 86% in the second set, 18 of 21, 73% overall. That always helps, especially when you're an aggressive player like Federer. That's good length. It's a tactic that works well against Federer. He doesn't like to back off, doesn't like to give up any territory, so if you can force him to half volley, it is harder to time the ball. Especially when you take big cuts at the ball.
Federer serving a break point down. He's gone to the backhand on each and every occasion.
I guess Robbie did it again there, didn't he? But that's a case of playing to your own strengths as opposed to worrying about who's on the other side of the net and what their best shot is.
Yep. Gasquet just questioning his shot selection here. Tells himself, should have gone cross court.
Mr. Federer is turning the ball on the right center service line. Ball was called out. Second serve. Advantage Federer. Mr. Federer has 2 challenges remaining.
Here at Juice, after an error like that, Gasquet's got to start thinking, right, okay, come on, this could be the game. Time now to put Federer under a little bit of pressure.
Look away past in that volley. Didn't wait for the ball to come to him. It's so key.
Advantage Federer.
He's come a fair bit, hasn't he? Roger, 18 times.
It's a very sensible game plan to expose the Gasquet's lack of an aggressive return off that backhand wing to good effect.
4 games.
Use that serve, the kicker, open up the court and then move Gasquet around. I'm just disappointed, Robbie, that Gasquet hasn't said, okay, look, it's obvious what Federer's doing there. I've got to stand up the court. I've got to take the ball on the right, and if I don't make that return, when I'm a little more aggressive with it, then so be it. But there's no point in standing back and just being beaten by the same play all the time.
Still losing anyway, so why not do something different? I hear you.
Loud 15.
for tennis.
30.
Felt that he had to use this pattern of play as much as possible. Use that rake and back and go for it.
Game, Gasquet.
Well, it's hanging in there, but time is running out.
4 games to 3.
It looks pretty comfortable out there. Leads by a set and 4-3 now.
Time.
Good pace, nice depth and a good start.
Love 15.
Two great forehands there. Superb target, well inside the line, but crucially took a bit of pace off it, added a bit of spin so he could drop it a little shorter to create the angle. Gets A for effort. Federer's dominated because he's made so many first serves today. That's allowed him to dictate play behind it. Game plan that he loves. 80% of first serves found their mark in this set, 72% overall. The average first serve speed today, a little down on what it would be normally, only 111 miles an hour. That's helped that percentage because obviously he's used the kicker a lot. Goes over the net a little higher, spin brings it in. So sensible serving, fine-tuning his game plan.
But no bonus points in our sport, because in others, you definitely get something for a shot like this.
Better return there too. A bit of juice on a couple of occasions in this set. Federer's responded with some really good serving. Got himself out of trouble. Let's see if he can do it again here. Oh, what a return! Incredible shot from Gasquet.
Advantage Gasquet.
Early preparation is the key, isn't it? If you can get a little bit of a read on the serve, you can prepare a little earlier. Look at the contact points right out in front in order to create that angle cross court. Incredible shot making. Break point. Oh, can you believe it? He surely thought he had the point one there.
And I can just feel that sinking feeling that I'm feeling in my heart must be twice as worse than his right now, knowing that he could be back on track.
Great little flick from Federer, though, under pressure.
Next.
Lovely response. Showed his frustration there, didn't he, briefly. That forehand when the serve was a let, but kept control of his emotions beautifully on that serve. Taken them 2 or 3 occasions in this set. Federer's been reeled in at juice, but he's responded well and eventually won the game.
Federer leads 5 games to 3.
So it's very simple now. Gasquet needs to hold to stay in the match. Hit it any better than that.
Players showing a wonderful touch and variety. It's the joy when you watch these two types of players go at it.
Fine one today. Hasn't over-forced with it. Hasn't tried to run around the backhand too often. And he's chosen sensible targets when heading to both the forehand and the backhand. Taken Federer an hour and 14 minutes to move within a point of victory.
Thank you. Please, thank you. Cheers.
He'll take it. Of course, Gasquet will feel that's a little fortunate. Didn't quite time that backhand as he would have wanted, but got away with it.
Advantage, Federer.
Match point number 2.
Cheers. Thank you. Advantage, Federer.
Let's see if Federer can get it done this time.
Yes. Mr. Gasquet is challenging the ball on the right center service line. Ball was called out. On start, second serve.
I don't know whether he's carrying some sort of
Advantage,
injury.
Federer.
I just think after the serve finishes, it's like in the back. He hasn't had his serves particularly hard today. Interesting to see what he says afterwards, but it's been a subpar performance today. Another match point for Federer.
Thank you, please.
On the other hand, maybe he's just despondent. Poor body language there.
Cheers.
Hasn't played the match points particularly well. Of course, desperate to try and get it done in this game, so he doesn't have to serve it out. A lot of success in surging forwards today, Federer. It's 16 of 20 points that have been won in the forecourt. 9 of 10 here in the second set. Maybe looking for more of the same here. Match point number 5. It's been a little tame, haven't they?
Yeah, halfway up the net. Look at the look between those two guys. I can't believe it either. There's so many routine shots. It's not a happy-looking camp yet. Well taken deep in the covers.
Yep, it's a good catch.
Advantage, Federer.
Federer needs to take one of these sooner rather than later.
Games and match.
Finally, Federer gets it done.
6-4, 6-3.
And he still gives himself a fighting chance of qualifying for the semi-finals with that win. A poor performance really from Gasquet, a little too passive throughout the match, never really at the races. Federer played well though, before stumbling over the finish line. Gets it done in an hour and 21 minutes. That'll be happy, and that's always important. So winner today in straight sets, 6-4, 6-3.
Yeah, Federer fans will be happy. Did enough to get the job done. Excuse me. I guess forehand worked well. The serve was effective. Made a good percentage of first serves, especially in that second set. 84, 31 out of 37. Lysa took a little bit of pace off, went for a bit more accuracy. So those are some of the silver linings to Federer's game. I think he'll be still a little concerned on his breakpoint conversion rate. 2 of 9 in set number 2. And of course, you know, against the very best players in the world, you're not going to get that many bites at the cherry, Jason. So that's an area where you could do with a little bit of improvement. But always nice to get the W. It helps with the confidence, which of course is so crucial.
You disappointed in Gasquet's performance
There
today?
was definitely something wrong there. The serve didn't look particularly good, didn't have a lot of power behind it, and he looked tame, he looked a little jaded. I don't know if it's as a result of playing a lot of matches lately, but not on top of his game. A few too many unforced errors, 27, and just half a step slow. That's the feeling I got.
It didn't look like he had any confidence in his own ability, did it?
Yeah, and given everything he's been able to do this year and how well he played in the first match against Del Potro, both you and I expected a little bit more. But of course, it wasn't to be, and Roger has prevailed. An hour and 21 minutes. Always nice to get the job done in straight sets, because that'll put him in a fine position as far as his group is concerned. Did really well in the forecourt. 16 of 20 points won there.
So here's how it looks in Group A. Novak Djokovic with a win in 3 sets. Sits atop of the group. Del Potro just behind him. Similar fashion, of course. He won in 3 sets as well. Of course, Federer losing, but then getting a win is now 1-1. Gasquet's going to struggle, having lost both of his matches, and especially if he continues to play as passively as he did today. So Federer will feel he's still in with a shout, and played a little bit better today as well. So everything's still very much... It's not an easy shot, but he made it look very simple. And then, of course,